Welcome back to this series on Karaka. Last time I had covered the introduction where I explained the concept of Karaka, what it literally means in Sanskrit, as well as what it means in terms of Jyotish, and the importance of Karaka, as well as I explained the Karakatva related to Sun or Surya, that is the significations related to Sun. I would request you to go through that video in detail. Today, I'll be going forward and covering about the next set of planets. Um, as I've said, it is about Karaka is about the action and the instrument of doing action, etc. And it is basically talking about, uh, you know, uh, Karaka and Bhava coming together. Karaka is what you're getting from society, your God, and all that is your destiny, and Bhava is what you want. Okay. Um, Karaka, and there are whole lot of aspects in life, um, your wife, children, other relationships, career, and even specific careers like say career in politics, career in bureaucracy, or in management, or in sports, or any such, or in films for that matter. So for each there is a Karaka. Okay, there is a particular planet signifying that, and that is what we are going to try and understand through this series. So we covered the detail the signification of Sun, and now we're going to cover Moon. Okay, uh, Moon is Maharishi Parashara says Mana Karaka. Okay, it is indicating mind. Okay, Manas. uh, and here I am taking from a classical book, a literature, and these are the words over here. I have always tried to present the Sanskrit words also because they have a different impact, and English translation need not always be the correct one. So the word uses chetas, which is related to chetana, which is about consciousness, the thing which makes us conscious. Okay. Uh, but you can relate that also to the mind and heart, in the sense, what kind of consciousness do you have? In the sense, do you are you, that is impacted by the mind. Okay, your thinking, are you in a good space or in a bad space? Are you having good thoughts? Is your heart clean, or is there a lot of anger or sorrow inside the heart? Okay. uh, so when we say heart, we are talking of the mind, consciousness. It's a very nebulous area, right? um, so that is what we are talking about over here, chetas. You can also, it is also quite clearly manas, which is mind. Okay. It's also intellect or buddhi, in the sense, when we are having all these two words coming, chetana, buddhi, manas, and all that, we are essentially talking about the anthakarana. If you read the Bhagavad Gita and our classical literature of philosophy, uh, say Patanjali Yoga Sutras and all that, you'll understand that there is something called an anthakarana. That is, we have a gross physical body outside, but inside is a subtle body. Okay. Which is not material in nature, but it is also a body because it has a death, right? It is not the soul, because soul is a very different thing. Okay. Soul has no birth, no death. It is always been there, right? But the subtle body or the antakarna has a death. At the end of this life, it dies in, and maybe some essence of it gets passed on to the next life. Okay. The gross body anyway dies off completely. There's nothing which gets passed on to the next birth. So when we talk about antakarna, meaning the inner instrument, so to say, the subtle body, you have all these things: buddhi, uh, ahankara, your manas, and chitta, and all that coming together, consciousness, intellect, and all. The word intellect specifically means the ability to decide. Okay. Um, so that is what we are talking about over here with Moon. Another thing is Nripa Prasada. Nripa meaning king. Okay. Prasada meaning a favor, some benefit granted by the king, right? And that's why it's royal favor. And whom does the king typically grant favors to? Those who are around him. And who are those around him? Those who do his work, typically his ministers. And that's why bureaucracy is typically associated with moon. That is the kind of people who are not wielding the power, in the sense they don't have power in their hand, but they are using the power on behalf of the king. So an IAS officer is empowered by the government to take certain decisions, right? Uh, Not just IAS officer, any sort of any person functioning in the bureaucracy is empowered by the government that okay, you can take these decisions. This is under your purview. This is something you can do, etc. Right? So that is what bureaucracy is. It is reflecting the power of the sun. The sun is the king, or the governance, or the government structure, the people in power, and the moon is the one who are working on behalf of the king, and hence they are sort of blessed by the king in terms of giving them power and influence, etc. Janani, moon indicates the mother, right? Uh, and Sampat. The word Sampat is again a very broad word. Now, interestingly, we had a word called Shriya in case of sun. So, again, if you see Shriya or Sampat, all these are translated typically as prosperity, wealth, and all that. But there is slight difference. The word Sampat is generally associated with the second house. Okay. And, in Navataras, the 9 taras that we have from our birth nakshatra, Janma, Sampad, Vipad, Kshema, Pratyari, and so on. The second one is called Sampad or Sampat. Okay, similar, same word. In fact, Sampat is the same word, and that's about prosperity, but it's also about fulfillment. It's like not just having availability of an ice cream. Okay, see, you may have money available, but then you should be able to buy an ice cream with that, but not just buying it, but enjoying it and feeling fulfilled having it. That is sampatti. That is sampath. Okay, and that is because you have people around you, you have family with you. You're not just enjoying. Okay, you're enjoying watching your brother having an ice cream, your mother having an ice cream, and you're all together very happily having this ice cream. It's so nice, right? Moon is also, by the way, Karaka for food. Okay, which is again related to the second house. Okay, so it's interesting that I'm talking about food because moon is the Karaka for food. Okay, moon is also Karaka. It's not mentioned here, but moon is also Karaka for say milk, for rice, so specific food items. In general, it is Karaka for food, but it's also uh, Karaka for specific food items like milk and rice. Okay, um, it's also Karaka for salt because see, moon is born in the oceans. Moon is a child of Varuna or Sagara, and salt, seawater is salty, right? So that's why salt. So there are a lot of these things which we understand from our literature, from Puranic literature. Um, there's something else I wanted to add, but it just missed me now. Uh, so these are the whole set of things that moon is Karaka for. Okay, I will end over here because I don't want to have a very long video. Next time I'll cover Mangala and maybe even Buddha as well. Yeah. Thank you so much for your patience. And if you have any further questions, what else moon is Karka for, etc., please do share. Yeah, do ask me the questions in the comments. Thank you so much.